Hello, I'm Charlie. Welcome to Why Are Farmers So Smelly? Hang on a minute. That's not Charlie. I'm Charlie. This is Graham, the goat. Bruce can't be with us. Bruce, my dog, can't be with us this week. He's currently on a Skype call to Hollywood as he's got a series after the success of last week called Why Are Humans So Smelly? But welcome to Why Are Farmers So Smelly? We've got more questions for our lovely farmer Will this week, including this one.
Right, let's have another question. This is a good one from May, age 6. May, age 6. How many cows can you fit in a shed? Lovely. Do you call it a shed? I'm sure May's correct there with her terminology.
You can call it a shed or a barn, either or, really, interchangeable. You can get as many cows into the shed depending on the dimensions of the shed. We have some quite big sheds here, so we can get a lot of
How big? You're saying big. How big?
Our sheds would be a couple of 100 meters long by 50 meters wide, and there's about 5 of those.
A couple of 100 meters long. They're having to call off the Olympics, having to do the Olympics again, aren't they? Somewhere else could do the 200 meters in your barn, Will.
We could do.
So
yeah.
Indoors, get some of the get not all the cows. It might add to the Olympics. Maybe they have to stop halfway round. Do that. Usain Bolt does 100 meters. Stop, milk a cow, finish.
I like it.
Cows in the Olympics. I think we can all agree that is a brilliant idea. Well done, me.
Right, anyway, Tommy, age 7, has asked, why do sheep have different numbers of lambs and how do they get inside? Good luck, Will.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy. So much like humans, lambs, sheep use, they can have 1, 2, or 3 babies, or sometimes even 4. Quadruplets happen sometimes for the poor you. Usually with sheep it's 2. That's the most common. So usually they have twins, which is what they want, really. If you have 3, it's a bit too many for the poor mother to look after. How they get in there? There's a daddy sheep as well, a ram or a tup,
a ram,
as we call them, depending on what part of the country you're from. And what happens is the ram and the tup spends a bit of time with the ewe in the field. They hang out together. They have a bit of quality time.
Few drinks,
Netflix, and then several months later, out come the little 1, 2, 3, or 4 baby lambs.
Huh. I've always wondered about that, and now we know. Now we know, Graham. He doesn't speak. He's not real.
Let's have another question, Will. This is a good one from an anonymous. I don't know why it's anonymous. I don't know if they're a spy. I don't know if this is James Bond asking a question. Just thinking of getting out of the spy business and getting into the farming industry. This is from anonymous. What's the tallest thing you've grown? I'll take widest as well, Will. Up to you.
The tallest thing we grow is maize. Maize, so what in the States they would call corn, where it's the same variety of plant you get sweet corn from, but we grow it, we call it maize because we use it for cattle feed. Yeah. But that will grow, I guess, up to about 8 to 9 feet tall. But I mean, the most important thing is the cob size. So the corn in the cobs you get at the supermarkets, it's the same principle. You want decent sized cobs.
How many cob on a 9 feet maize?
So you get sort of 5, 6 cobs on there. So so you get a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's the size of the cob that's important.
That's that cleared up. Can we just say a big thank you for all the tweets and texts and messages we've had about last week's show. We're hoping you'll send us in some new questions for next week's show. Questions like this one.
This is from May, age 6. Do pigs eat hay? Pigs eat everything, don't they? They just eat anything at all.
Pretty much, yeah. Pigs will eat anything. They probably have a nibble on some hay, though. You wouldn't usually feed hay to pigs. I mean, they'll eat any kind of grains or old fruit or anything. They tend to. I think pig farmers tend to feed them on barley usually through the winter. But they will have a bit of a nibble on some hay.
Now, after the success of last week's joke, I wanted to tell Will my own joke. Here it is.
Here's a good question for you. Do you know the most common owl in the UK, Will? The most common owl?
I do not know the most common owl in the UK.
Would you hazard a guess, Will?
I would guess at a barn owl.
It's the teat owl. Lovely joke for you. Down Farmer Club. You can get them with that, Will, down Farmer Club.
Now, Will, our farmer, he presents a podcast about farming called Rock and Roll Farming. I wanted to know a bit more about that.
You do a podcast, and what's that called? That's called Rock and Roll Farming.
It is.
And what do you do? What do you do on Rock and Roll Farming?
So, rock and roll farming was. I had the idea that farming needed to be a bit more modern, and we're not very good at PR as an industry because we're an older industry, and. But there's loads of brilliant human stories in farming, so I thought wouldn't it be great to interview some of the people who've got these stories, who've overcome great difficulties or are doing something really innovative, and talk to them about what they're doing and put them out there on the internet, and it's gone from strength to strength.
So that's on Twitter as well, at R&R Farming Pod, Rock and Roll Farming Pod. Will, I'm going to leave you now. I've got one last question for you, which when we get out of isolation, and obviously this coronavirus will end and all this will end, my question for you is, can I ever go on your tractor?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that, Will.
Only if you wear some Massey Ferguson overalls.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, you try and stop me. I'll bring my own.
So that's it for this week. A huge thank you to Will Evans, our farmer, a new farmer next week, hopefully with all your new lovely questions. Do get in touch on the Twitter page or email us or find us on Eat Farm Now. Thanks for watching Why Are Farmers So Smelly? See you next week.